Hey, everybody, welcome to the superhero scene. My name is Joe. Today, I wanted to talk about the Batman Ben Affleck script and what the movie was supposed to be like. I was recently scrolling across social media and I came across an interesting tweet from Olivia. Now, a lot of people might not recognize his name, but he's very synonymous in the DC and Marvel world as he worked on animated movies and did some storyboarding for some live action movies. A lot of DCEU movies as well. I wanted to talk about this because I've been wanting to do a video on this. Um, we've heard about what potentially could have been with the Batman Ben Affleck movie, and now that we're getting rumors of it possibly coming true with HBO Max wanting to, put this thing back together with Ben Affleck, with Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke and Jared Leto as Joker, wanting to bring them back to reprise those roles to do this. There was a heavy rumor going around when the Snyder Cut was announced that they wanted to do the Ayer cut. They wanted to do this Batman movie. And so I want to do a video on this because I saw this tweet. And what Jay Oliva tweeted was that he said that he read the script and it was the best Batman movie he's ever read. The best script he's ever read for a Batman movie. And the fans would have loved it. So I'll get into it more later what the exact tweet was and talk about him a little more, what he's done. But, I wanted to read a couple of articles from some websites that I came across when I was looking up to see what the plot entailed of this movie. So I'm going to read a couple of websites, talk about it, and then we'll get into the tweet, and then we'll discuss this a little further. It said that appearing on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast, cinematographer Robert Richardson, who was set to work with Affleck on the Batman, revealed some of the overarching details of the original script. He was going into the more insanity aspects. He was entering more into the Arkham. He was going into where everyone was bad. That's where we were going. I was very interested in that one. There was a script, but not a loved script. And there was a lot of work he was doing to change it. And what they're saying that it wasn't loved, but it was. They said it wasn't loved by the heads of Warner, and that was all the heads of Warner Brothers at the time when DC was just every movie was being questioned, was being compromised, was being changed from its original director's versions of what they wanted to do. So that's what they mean that it wasn't loved. I'm sure it would have been loved by fanatics of Batman, fans of Batman, and people that actually wanted to do this movie with Ben Affleck instead of going a different direction because of the what happened with Justice League and BVS. Okay, and then it went to say Richardson also revealed that the film would have delved into the darker aspects of Batman's psyche. Well, Affleck was going into more of the insanity aspects. So I think you would have seen something a little darker than what we've seen in the past, and more into the individual who was inside the Batman. Which, come to think about it, when you've seen BVS, he was dark in that movie. So for him to be darker than that in this movie, that would have been great. What element may be sane and what element may actually not be sane. So he was entering into a little more of the Arkham, as you know. He's going into where you keep everyone who was bad, everyone that shifted, and Batman. And so the whole aspect was sort of, it was very fascinating to go on that darker side of Batman. Obviously, what makes the prospect of an Arkham Asylum-focused Batman film so exciting is the idea of the Dark Knight being locked in a building with his entire rogues gallery, and that would have been awesome to see. Given that Warner Brothers was trying to exponentially expand the DCEU, an approach they've since reconsidered, which they have, it stands to reason that the film would have introduced tons of iconic Batman villains such as the Riddler, Mr. Freeze, Clayface, Poison Ivy, and it would have been cool to see all these villains on screen at the same time in the same movie, instead of waiting years for a new film with another 2 or 3 villains in it. Who knows, really? The possibilities could have been endless. And let me go to the other article I have, and this article is from Cosmic Book News. Now, they just talked about a rumored plot details. It's not like what the plot was actually supposed to be. They just came across it, and I'm going to go into it now. Last month, learned that Ben Affleck Batman movie starring Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke was a Dawn of Vigilantes type flick. And now a rumor offers potential details about the plot. It may not be 100% true. It does sound pretty cool and seem to fit the vigilante title. They said they remembered from a couple of years ago where it stated that Deathstroke shows up in Gotham City and starts to leave a trail of bloodshed by killing gangsters and going as far as murdering members of Batman's rogues gallery. It said B-list Batman villains like Firefly and Zsasz would eventually get killed, but Deathstroke would bring things up a level and start killing A-listers like the Penguin, which was named. Batman is said to get involved when Deathstroke targets Joker, which leads to their final battle. Again, the info may not be legit, but as noted, it seems to fit the cat and mouse type potential gang type fight involving Deathstroke and the Ben Affleck Batman. They noted that Zack Snyder included Joe Manganiello along with Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor in the Justice League post-credit scene, that possibly Lex pays Deathstroke to kill Batman's villains in order to set up a confrontation between the two. And that sounds interesting when you see it, because when you see the last clip of that scene they're talking about in the end credit scene of Justice League, when you saw Deathstroke going up the yacht and talking to Lex Luthor, we don't get the sense that he hired him to kill Batman. So that little spin seems very interesting. They just wanted to put together that Legion of Doom sort of team. And this sounds interesting. As even Joe Manganiello tweeted out, this wasn't supposed to be the end credit scene of Justice League. It was supposed to be Batman fighting Deathstroke to end that, to lead into the Batman with Ben Affleck. So, with all these rumors going around, you know, and I know they went down a little bit. That when the Snyder Cut was officially announced, all these rumors came out about what was potentially going on with HBO Max and how they wanted to attract more people. So you started hearing about the Ayer cut, and that hasn't been announced too. But the thing is that at this Comic-Con, at this comic thing that they're doing with DC, the DC Fandome it's called, they have 2 secret movies that if you look on their, I think it was on their website, but you could only see it either if you have an iPhone or Android, that if you scroll down the list of what it's going to be included, you'll see it says Secret Movie 1 and Secret Movie 2. Now, could these Secret Movie 1 and 2 be the Ayer cut and the Batman that they're going to announce? There was rumors going around this past week, or a week or two ago, that Ben Affleck has been offered a new contract and has signed a new one with with Warner Brothers. And it hasn't been officially announced. It's just a rumor that came out. It could be true or it could not be true, but they said it might be announced at the Fandome. So if they announce it at the Fandome, if Ben Affleck comes out, if they're doing press for, I'm sure it'll be virtual. If they do any sort of thing where they're talking about the Snyder Cut, and Ben Affleck comes on and talks about Snyder Cut, but also announced that he's back and doing the Batman flick with him in it, and it's going to be on HBO Max, oh man, that'd be so cool. And those rumors were floating around a lot, and you could potentially see a lot of things coming to light with this. You can see them spawning off possibly a whole Batman universe in this HBO Max. You could see spin-offs with series with villains or heroes too. So it's very interesting when you think about it. When you read this plot, it sounds amazing. So let me go into what Jay Olivia tweeted. Now, he said, the original Batman, the original Affleck script was the best Batman script I've ever read. Batman had a kick-ass story, and I believe that the audience and fans would have loved it. Now, Jay Olivia doesn't, a lot of people don't know of his name. I've seen it on the screen. I've seen it mentioned in articles, so I figured I'd look him up just to talk about him. And he was a storyboard artist and director. He began animation working on Fox's animated Spider-Man in 1996, which is one of my favorite cartoons. Directed Spider-Man MTV series, which is okay. In the 90s, hired as a storyboard artist for Batman 2004 series for WB. Animation, directed, now just listen to all these movies that he directed. Flashpoint Paradox, Justice League War, Batman Assault on Arkham, Batman vs. Robin, and Batman Bad Blood, which all great movies. And he storyboarded live-action movies that Zack Snyder saw his potential and brought him over to do live-action movies. He storyboarded Man of Steel, worked on the sequel to 300, Batman vs. Superman, Ant-Man, Deadpool, Wonder Woman, and Justice League. So he's firsthand seen what happened, and he's been a huge proponent of the Snyder Cut. And now that we see some stuff online of what this potential movie could have been, it would have been great. You could have seen a potential, Batman taking on Deathstroke with Joker in it. Possibly Margot Robbie comes in as, Harley Quinn. Could you have seen in this movie them delve deeper into the Dick Grayson murder of how Joker did that? Can you have seen Carrie Kelly being introduced in this movie, kind of him mentoring her into another role in this? So this movie could have spawned a whole different thing, a whole different universe of Batman stuff, and it would have been amazing. So hopefully with all these rumors, maybe it'll come true. I figured I wanted to do a video on this just to share what that movie would have been like, the tone of it, and what a plot that I've read. I couldn't find any other websites to show any other plots, but this is the only one I found. So I thought it was very interesting. It sounded very interesting, but may not be 100% true, but you could see the potential there when you read that it definitely would have been, like Jay Oliver said, a kick-ass story. So comment below what you think about this. Would you have enjoyed this movie? Are you looking forward to this whole Batman movie with Ben Affleck? If it does get announced at DC Fandome and does start getting worked on, that would be fantastic. So thank you as always for watching this. I really appreciate it. Smash that like button. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the superhero scene and join our superhero team. Thank you all so much. Have a super night, a super day tomorrow. Take it easy.